If you were to put on a military uniform tomorrow and your country told you, this is to protect our homeland, would you obey the order without hesitation? Even if the order was to use force against civilians. Today's protagonist, Alan, is just such an ordinary young American. He had no history of mental illness, no violent tendencies, and simply wanted to change his life by joining the military. However, in a border conflict between Country A and Country B, he went from just standing guard to personally carrying out clearance operations. The International Criminal Court later called him a war criminal, but he himself said, "I was just following orders." 65% of ordinary people in the Milgram obedience experiment. They might administer lethal electric shocks to strangers simply because an authority figure in a white coat says, "Continue." This isn't unique to Germans, nor is it exclusive to bad guys. It's the pervasive fragility of humanity under the state apparatus. In this video, we dissect 6 psychological stages of distorted humanity, showing you that war crimes don't happen suddenly, but rather, like boiling a frog in lukewarm water, gradually turn good people into butchers. More importantly, learn these 6 self-defense techniques so you can hold on to your inner moral compass in any collective madness. Like, subscribe, and turn on notifications. Let's delve into this terrifying yet empowering psychological abyss together. Alan was born in an ordinary small town in the American Midwest. His father was a truck driver, and his mother worked at a supermarket. He played soccer in high school and dreamed of studying engineering at a state university. At 21, during an economic downturn, he saw a recruitment ad, "Join the Army, defend freedom, tuition covered." Alan thought, "Isn't this my chance?" After enlisting, the training was rigorous, but the camaraderie was strong. He drank and talked about the future with his comrades, feeling that the country needs us. We are heroes. Before the conflict broke out, Alan never thought he would hurt anyone. He even wrote in his diary, "I joined the army to protect the innocent, not to hurt them." But the national propaganda machine started television repeatedly broadcast images of Country B threatening our homeland, and superior officers repeatedly emphasized, "They are not human, they are enemies." Alan began to waver, unaware that this was already the first seed of conflict. A small speculation on criminal psychology at this time, Alan's mind was simply filled with obedience to the halo of authority. He regarded the country as a father figure, believing that his superiors know more than I do. The conflict escalated, and Alan's squad received orders to enter a border village to check suspicious individuals. The first operation was just a house search. Alan felt uneasy, but his superior roared, "This is an order! Disobey and you will be court-martialed!" Alan obeyed. He told himself, "I'm just a soldier. Refusing will ruin my future and implicate my comrades." The first time, he simply stood guard outside the door, without directly taking action. Psychological analysis. This is the core of the Milgram obedience experiment. 65% of ordinary people would act against their conscience due to pressure from authority. In the experiment, subjects believed they were being electrocuted, but because the experimenter said, "The experiment must continue," they endured up to a lethal 450 volts. Alan's situation was exactly the same. The authority figure, the superior officer, created the illusion that the responsibility wasn't mine. Criminal psychology section. Alan's inner monologue. "My heart is racing, but everyone obeyed. If I didn't, I'd be a traitor. The country can't be wrong, right? Just this once, and never again." Cognitive bias. Authority halo bias. He idealized his superiors, ignoring the moral risks of the order itself. The team enters its second mission. The superior orders, eliminate potential threats. This time, Alan and his comrades push open a house. Some fire, some search. Alan doesn't fire the first shot, but he helps restrain a civilian trying to escape. Afterwards, everyone sat down to chat. "It wasn't our idea to do it. It was an order from above. The whole team was doing it. What could I change alone?" Responsibility seemed diluted within the group, and everyone felt, "It wasn't my fault." Psychological analysis in the Stanford prison experiment. Ordinary college students who played the role of prison guards quickly became cruel because the role and the group made them feel, this is a system requirement, not an individual act. De-individuation eliminates individual responsibility. Criminal psychology speculation. Alan thought, if I stop, what will my comrades think of me? What if the whole mission fails? Anyway, everyone's here. I'm just one link in the chain. At this stage, he began to comfort himself with diffusion of group responsibility, reducing his inner conflict, but his moral bottom line had loosened. Propaganda escalation. The media portrayed civilians in Country B as a savage threat and inhuman. Superiors repeatedly said, they are not families, not children, they are symbols of the enemy. While carrying out missions, Alan began to imagine the women and children before him as potential bomb carriers. During one operation, he saw a crying child but quickly looked away, silently thinking, they're not human, they're just a threat. Psychological analysis. Dehumanization is a classic mechanism of war crimes. Research shows that when victims are labeled as animals or objects, the perpetrator's empathy and guilt decrease significantly. Criminal psychology analysis. Alan's inner thoughts. I used to feel sorry for children, but now they look different from us, and we can't understand what they're saying. Maybe they really are planning to attack my family. I'm not hurting people, I'm eliminating danger. Cognitive bias. Basic attribution error. He categorized all people from Country B as inherently evil, ignoring individual humanity. Like a frog being slowly boiled in water, the mission escalated from small-scale searches to large-scale elimination. Alan only helped the first time, participated in the escort the second time, and the third time, he pulled the trigger himself. With each step, he thought, I've already come this far, stopping would be more dangerous. I've already done everything I can, so let's continue. Psychological analysis. The principle of commitment. Consistency. People tend to maintain consistency in their actions, avoiding the dissonance of admitting, I was wrong before. Criminal psychology section. Alan's monologue. If I refuse now, I'll have to admit I was completely wrong. My military career, my camaraderie, my loyalty to my country all ruined. Continuing, at least I can say I'm fulfilling my duty. Decision-making process. Short-term fear overcomes long-term morality, gradually leading to an irreversible trap. His comrades gathered at night, sharing stories to reinforce their beliefs. We have to be even tougher, or they'll retaliate. Watching the news, they're even more brutal over there. Group discussions fueled increasingly radicalized views. Alan initially hesitated, but under the applause of his comrades and the label of hero, he began to proactively propose even harsher actions. Psychological analysis group. Polarization. Group discussions can push members' opinions towards more extreme directions, especially under high-pressure environments. Criminal psychology speculation zone. Alan thought, if one person wanted to stop, they would be isolated, but when everyone shouted for the country, I felt it was the right heroic act. The inner voice grew quieter, and the voice of the group grew louder. He went from passive obedience to active participation, completely integrating into the war machine. After the conflict, Alan still insisted in court. I was just following orders from the state, it was a just war. He reconstructed his actions as necessary sacrifices, heroic acts of protecting the homeland, and even felt proud of his achievements. Psychological analysis. Cognitive dissonance theory. When behavior conflicts with beliefs, people change their beliefs to reduce discomfort. Alan completely reconstructed his moral framework. Harming civilians equals protecting family equals justice. Criminal psychology speculation zone. Inner monologue. If I admit I'm wrong, I can't live, so I have to believe it's right. Those civilians? They are the price of the war. I am a victim forced by orders. Ultimately, he lost his initial sense of morality, becoming a true war criminal, yet feeling innocent. The 6 stages are summarized as follows. 1. Simple obedience. 2. Diffusion of responsibility. 3. Dehumanization. 4. Gradual commitment. 5. Group polarization. 6. Moral reconstruction. These aren't just for war. In the U.S. in 2026, you might experience similar psychological processes when your boss orders you to do something shady at work, when you're attacked as a dissident on social media, or when you're pressured at home to do what's best for everyone. Collective madness can happen at any time. Think of certain political polarizations or corporate scandals. Milgram tells us ordinary people are extremely prone to obeying authority. The Stanford prison experiments prove that roles and situations can quickly distort human nature. Cognitive dissonance allows us to rationalize wrongdoing. But the good news is, understanding these can help you break the cycle. 5 to 7 screenshotable action lists, practical tips for self-improvement. 1. Set personal moral red lines. Write down 3 bottom lines in advance. No matter what authority, I will never, and review them daily. Workplace example: never participate in spreading rumors that harm colleagues. 2. Practice dehumanization and reversal. When you see a stranger each day, ask yourself, what if this were my family? Cultivate empathy and resist stereotypes. 3. Develop independent decision-making habits. When faced with an order, pause for 10 seconds and ask, if there were no punishment, would I still do it? Train yourself not to shift all responsibility to superiors. 4. Establish a cognitive dissonance alarm system. When you experience inner conflict, immediately write it down and reflect instead of rationalizing. The journaling app can be used. 5. Daily moral courage. Training: start by practicing saying no in small things. Refuse unreasonable pressure in group chats. Refuse to blindly attack others. Build strength for larger situations. 6. Expose yourself to diverse perspectives. Actively read books or watch videos with different viewpoints to avoid group polarization. A recommended introductory psychology book is Thinking, Fast and Slow. 7. Build a support network. Find like-minded friends and regularly discuss, if I were in Alan's position, what would I do? Remind each other of boundaries. Alan's story isn't a warning, but a mirror. The state apparatus is powerful, but your heart is stronger. You have the ability to recognize these 6 stages and say to any brainwashing, no, I choose to be a person with principles. Thank you for watching. If you found this video inspiring, please like and share it with your friends to protect humanity together. Tell me in the comments, which psychological stage are you most afraid of? Next time, we'll delve deeper into more criminal psychology and self-improvement cases. I'm your criminal psychology partner. See you next time. Stay alert and protect your principles.